Welcome to our cybersecurity briefing for August the 1st, 2024. Thank you for joining us. We're glad you're here. I'm going to title today's program, Ramifications of an Interactive World. And so what we've seen happening over the last few days and weeks, that's why I'm entitling this program with that message. So I'm here today to share with you a little bit about what's going on in the cybersecurity world and the direction that it's heading and what's happening right now that you need to know to protect yourself and your organization. So there are some good things that you can do, and there are some good things that your IT company can do to help you keep abreast of what's going on in the cybersecurity world. But what's going on now is bigger and larger than we've seen in the past. And that is that you'll need to do something to change your method of coping with what's going on in the world. And more, you'll need to be doing more of that, more so in the days ahead than you've ever done in the past. So you need to be protected by a true cybersecurity IT company. They need to be cybersecurity first focused, and it's the company that you deal with that you need to be making sure that they're trained and prepared to work and stand alongside you when an incident happens and the criminals are just waiting out in the world to attack. So thank you so much for joining us. So let's get to our agenda real quick. I'm going to click on the next slide. Here we are. Today is the introduction that I just did, some about our current cybersecurity landscape, some recent attacks and breaches that we've had, some best practices, and I don't think we have any FTC safeguard changes for compliance other than the one that we've mentioned before that happened June the 9th. And that briefly was that the FTC is helping us understand that when we have an incident in the accounting, CPA world, wealth management world, we have 30 days to report that. And if we don't, they will help us to understand why we need to be reporting those things because of a dollar fine that they've allocated against, evidently, each record that is exposed. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. That says a lot about you and your organization that you're joining us today, that you're concerned. Cyber threats are a growing problem, as we know, and we're here to educate you a little bit about that. If you have any questions, you can always email hello@rethinksecured.com, and we're going to try to keep this briefing to about 15 to 20 minutes. So who are we? I am Dave. I am the VP of Business Development with VaynerNet Technology Services, and everything has changed since COVID happened. And because of everybody being scattered to work out from the behind the corporate firewall, and now we're finding that people are trying to come back to work and get back behind that firewall to protect their devices. That's what the corporate world wants, and so they're encouraging us to do that. As you know, cyber attacks have gone way up in the last couple of years, and we at VaynerNet are security conscious, and we want to be a consultant and solutions provider, and we want to enable your business to grow securely and help reclaim your time and outsmart the competition and try to outsmart some of those criminals. Our current landscape is that the latest trends that are happening have been, and I'll move on to the next slide, the CrowdStrike meltdown that we had a couple of weeks ago and the wake-up call. And if you don't mind, I'm going to bring over a slide that I have and the CrowdStrike meltdown. And if you'd like to read along with me a little bit, and if you'd like a copy of these URLs, just email me and I can send you a copy so that you can read the full article on your own. So as we see on July 19th, the world experienced one of the largest IT outages in history, affecting millions of endpoints. As I understand, there were about 8.5 million computers that were affected with the blue screen of death. And the comment that I'd like to make is Delta evidently did not have an incident response plan in place to deal with such an attack that happened. And I think they are still dealing with some things, as along with other pockets of computers around the world that have not come back online. I believe I heard the information that there was still about 5% of the 8.5 million endpoints that had not come back online for one reason or another. Some of those may be just waiting for somebody to come alongside, or they may just be set aside and just doing, may have been doing mundane work that nobody was really watching or caring for. But as you know, we're still feeling the impact of that attack. And as we have been told so far, it was not a cyber attack. It was a update that the people were trying to make sure that everything was going to go smoothly. But in the middle of the night, about 3 a.m. UTC time, that incident happened. Airlines were come to a halt. Hospitals, banks, and even our local Missouri Driver's License Bureau. I went that morning at 8:15. They opened at 9. She already had on the door, "I'm sorry, we're not able to open today because of a cyber incident." And she had no idea what she was talking about as yet, but nobody was able to get their driver's license renewed or their driver's plates renewed that day. So it's interesting. This, as we're reading along here with me with my mouse, you can see the seemingly minor error in code cascaded into a major outage affecting critical infrastructure worldwide. And as I already said, airports, hospitals, and other large enterprises were relying on CrowdStrike to keep them in business. But obviously, they had not done their homework and rechecked everything along the way. And Falcon being a cloud-based security solution, functioning as they're saying like an antivirus, updating threat intelligence and protecting systems automatically, well, that did not work. And you can think that we're always trying to protect our clients from an outside cyber attack, but this incident happened inside the organization, and so now we have to change our plans and put into place different policies and procedures for internal errors that we find, and instead of only outside errors. And so when we're as techs trying to do a good job, sometimes we do make a mistake, do we not? And here we are. We found this. So if you'd like this full article, just email me and I will give you a copy of that article. So then I'm going to go to our next slide. Then on top of the CrowdStrike, guess what we found out happened this week? Microsoft had an issue with Azure, a DDoS attack, it seems. And if you don't know what a DDoS attack is, if you're not in the IT world, let me just read off to you. The DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service, and it's a malicious attempt to disrupt normal traffic to a property. And in this particular case, it was designed to force a website, a computer, or an online service to be taken offline. And this is accomplished by flooding the target, which is a computer or in the network, with so many requests, consuming its capacity and rendering it unable to respond to actual legitimate requests. So now we found out that Microsoft had this issue around the globe, and in the United States, it affected machines for about, I think, 12 to 14 hours. And so there are still pockets of computers that are not back online as yet because of the incident that happened from an outside threat, as I understand, to Microsoft in the Azure world. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to slide on over to this other slide and bring that over. And let's see, do I have, nope, here it is. Microsoft confirms that the outage was triggered by a cyber attack. And the outage on July 30th, distributed by a DDoS cyber attack, and they've confirmed that. It comes after users started complaining they couldn't access several services on Tuesday, including Microsoft 365 products, such as Office and Outlook and Azure, and it lasted nearly 10 hours. I heard that it lasted longer. It took place just 2 weeks after CrowdStrike. So now a lot of people are in our client base are asking us questions, what is going on in the world, which is not a bad thing because it's bringing their attention to the forefront that reality is that there are cyber attacks and things can happen. And you've heard the old story. Bad news is still good news sometimes because it brings up the advertising part of us doing business. So less than 2 weeks, a CrowdStrike update caused Microsoft Windows to crash. Companies affected by the outage were also the United States, UK, and the BBC. And what happened at Microsoft? They're still investigating the issue impacting the Azure portal, and they say that more details will come along as they're available. And as I said, it started approximately 3 a.m. our time, I believe, and there you go. So I'm going to move this slide back out of the way, and then we're going to go to the next slide that we want to talk about is, fortunately, the banks in the United States are focusing now on cybersecurity. And let me bring this last slide over and we can read a little bit about it. In the first half of the year, the banking executives have decided spending on cybersecurity actually outpaced that on AI intelligence, and the unfortunate part is it's proven that it's difficult to recruit people to handle the situations because they just don't have the training as yet. And banks are functioning in that digital economy where threats are constantly rising. And there's twice as many unique cyber incidents in the third quarter of 23 compared to the previous year. And so they're seeing those things. Locally, we're seeing a lot of cyber attacks for individuals, as well as we had an incident last week where a potential client got hacked, and his comment was that it was only a 365 attack. There was nothing else that he needed to be concerned about. And as you guys know, he's kind of in trouble, and we'll see if he's interested in talking to us at a later time. So But cybersecurity is pivotal to the banks. All the banks around the world are increasing their spend in dollar wise on cybersecurity, as we might be expected for the ongoing and evolving threats that are coming. And one statistic here is that in North America, at a 4.3% in the first quarter of calendar 24 to compared to 4% in the rest of the world. So that says that the U.S. is being attacked more and more, and they're focusing on us. Unfortunately, for larger organizations, as you can see in red there, the average cost of a breach was 9.5 million in the U.S., the highest in the world, and 5.1 million in Canada, versus the global average of 4.4 to a large organization. So let me move this slide out of the way, and we'll go to cybersecurity best practices. So I want to give you the big idea today, if I could please. The incident response plans surely shouldn't be merely focused on protecting you from a cybersecurity incident. We are going to need to rewrite the plans that we have, our policies and procedures, to include what happens when your internal security and software creates a problem. So I just want to reiterate today that you need to be protected by a true cybersecurity focused IT company who's trained and prepared to help walk you through the issue and the incidents, and to help you stand strong against the criminals that are in this world trying to attack you every day. So if you have any questions, there is the phone number and my email personally. And if you would like to connect with us to do a 15-minute cyber briefing and talk about and ask questions to you about your concerns for your business, you can just click on bit.ly/rethink secured, or the QR code, or email us at hello@vandernet.io.